welcome to OSG Live, where we inspire you to fall in love with your business. Get set to join your hosts, Tanya, Becky, Kylene, and Aaron for your weekly motivation. It's time to share your wins, express gratitude, and choose positive changes. Jump into the comments and share your thoughts with the rest of the OSG community. Coming up, OSG Wellness Super Tools to nourish your mind and body, small business success gems to uncover hidden gems of business excellence, and the uncommon mindset to challenge the status quo. Your journey to success and happiness starts now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OSG Live. We are excited to be here today. As you can see, we are missing someone today. Tanya is celebrating this week, so she is enjoying some time away, and we miss her, but she'll be back next week.
Viva Las Vegas, though. Come on.
What was that?
I can't feel too bad for her. She's in Las Vegas.
Oh, very true. Yeah, I hope she's having a great time.
Yes. She wouldn't put me in her checked bag either, so I don't know.
Of
course, I didn't take her to Maine, so I guess it's,
Turnabout's fair play.
Yeah. Well, I'm Kylene with Rise, Shine, Smile.
I'm Becky with BK Custom Tees.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery with our Success Group, and we are here to inspire you guys to fall deeper in love with your business. And hopefully today, in fact, not hopefully, I know today we are going to bring you a ton of great information to help you do just that. So I know, though, we always have to start off with our superpower, Kylene. So you want to explain that? And if you guys that are tuned in live, jump in, tell us good morning, and we want to hear from you guys.
Yeah. So let's start with gratitude. So we want to start with gratitude because gratitude is our superpower. When we're in a state of gratitude and we're truly appreciating the things that we have in our life to be grateful for, we start becoming in a state of abundance. So we start appreciating everything and paying attention to everything that's around us. And it truly just starts raising our vibration, and we start attracting more good things to us. And it's just really magical. And then we have more positive feelings in us. And so that's why it's our superpower. And so we want to start our show with gratitude today so we can bring a lot of positive energy into it. So I can start today. I am really grateful for sleep. Again, last night I had a great night's sleep, so I'm feeling great today. So that's what I'm grateful for. If you guys are listening and joining us today, please share in the comments what you're grateful for as well. We would love to hear that. Do you guys want to share what you're grateful for?
Sure. This week, I am extremely grateful for our mastermind group. Again, even though you don't always go with something to ask or feel like you're bringing something, there's always something to take out of that group. And I just love that part of it. So.
Yeah. The mastermind calls this week were fantastic, Becky. I think you hit the nail on the head there. Gosh, you guys come with this deep stuff. I just am super grateful for the beautiful sunrise we had this morning. I was getting ready in the office and looked out. Yeah, I don't know. no sunrise, not
no
yet.
No sunrise quite yet.
Okay, all right. So I don't know. That just struck me as just that sheer beauty of that was really evoked some gratitude in me. So that's what I wanted to share this morning. Speaking of sharing this morning, we've got Michelle joining us, another mastermind member here. Thanks for being here this morning, Michelle. And she shares, I'm grateful for sleep. With the time change, I've been going to bed earlier. So excellent. And then we've got Darren here. Darren, let us know what you're grateful for as well, sir. Can't wait to hear what everybody's got in their gratitude bucket today. So,
and it was Darren's birthday yesterday, was it not?
It was.
Nice.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Darren.
I did not know
Hope
that.
It was a good day.
How did I miss that? Gosh darn it. Maybe I didn't.
I don't think you did.
Okay. All right. The days kind of run together a little bit. I know this is Wednesday, but for some reason it feels like Monday still. So
oh, don't do that.
Maybe because I wanted to get a lot more done earlier in the week. So I'm hoping it's Monday. But yes, I get it. Becky, good point. All right. Well, Kylene, without Tanya here, you've got the wellness toolbox though, and I know you're ready for it. So are you ready? Oh, there we go. Darren says he's grateful for being off duty today. So Thank you very much. All right, good. All right, sorry, Kylene, I'm back on track here.
Yeah.
Shiny object there. So, are you ready for the wellness toolbox? So you got.
I am ready.
All right,
I am
here
ready.
we go. Here we go.
All right. I am excited to be here. I am missing Tanya, but today I do want to talk about embracing change as our wellness toolbox. So that's our special tool, is learning how to embrace change, because as you guys know, change happens all the time and we can't stop it. We can put ourselves in different situations, but change is still going to happen. And so learning how to handle change, learning how to adapt and move with the change is really a powerful skill that can create that harmony again inside of yourself, and just create more of those positive vibes, which then allows you to do the things that you want to do and show up for yourself the way that you want to show up for yourself and for others and for your business and all of that good stuff. Change is something that happens to every one of us. So I'm going to share some things that we can do to really embrace it and look at it as more of a positive instead of a negative. Even when that change is something tough, you can still learn to work with it, right? Rather than resist it. And then you resist it, that's those negative emotions that show up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. If you're listening and you have anything to share of how change has impacted you or how you have embraced change in your life, please share in the comments. I'd love to hear how you use change in your life for the positive, right? Because change happens in all areas of our life. And obviously it happens all the time in our business. We could have a new schedule right now with the time change, right? That's kind of what got me thinking about change, is the time change is something that does impact us, and we can resist it or we can learn to grow with it and adapt to it. You could have a new job task. You could be trying to incorporate a new healthy lifestyle and incorporating a new food in your life, a new diet. You could have gotten a diagnosis that maybe you weren't quite ready for. Someone in your family got a diagnosis and you kind of have to adjust to that new way of living, right? It could be a loss of someone special. For me, most of you guys know this past, I guess it's been 6 months already, my dad passed away. So that was a huge change for me. One that obviously I didn't want to happen. If I could go back and change it, of course I would, but I can't change it. So I'm learning to respond to that change and move forward. And so that's a little bit about why I want to talk about how important it is to embrace this change. Our brains, as you guys know, see change as that scary thing, right? That's when it creates that fear that shows up, the anxiety, all those negative emotions, because it's a safety thing. Our brain wants to stay in autopilot and its comfort and conserve energy, right? And so when change happens, that disrupts that pattern, and then that's where we get those feelings that can be overwhelming and anxious and negative. So the good news with all of this, and you guys know this in your own life, when you've learned to adapt to change, we can process it, we can use it for the good, and we can train our brains to process that change in a healthy way instead of just resisting it. So some of the ways that we can embrace change, and I know for me, this is something that I'm focusing on every day, is, realizing I'm learning with this change. This is an opportunity, right, for me to learn and grow and become an even better version of Kylene every day. So that's one way of just reframing how change impacts you. You can identify the changes. So when that change happens, you can identify, how am I feeling in this moment? When you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling kind of agitated when this change is happening. identify that change, acknowledge it. It's okay. It's okay to have that change. And then decide how you want to then move forward. How are you going to respond to that change? And that's where the event plus your response equals your outcomes, right? So how you respond creates those outcomes. If I respond with those negative feelings and just let it ruin my day and that's it, well, guess what? I'm going to have a real crappy day, for lack of better words, and I'm not going to accomplish what it is that I want to accomplish, what it is that's allowing me to share my special gifts with the world. So really choosing, coming back to that choose word for Tanya, choosing how you want to show up and respond to this change. Try different ways, see the outcomes that you might get. The other thing, and we've talked about this before, is the importance of visualizing in your mind this change happening. So let's say you know this change is coming about in the future. Go through your meditations, visualize this change happening. So you're almost programming your brain to know that it's already happened. So when it does happen, it's a more comfortable experience as you move through the difference in routine, task, whatever situation it might be for yourself. And then we have some comments. I apologize. Michelle wrote, I've changed so much in the last year. Morning routine to include God and movement. I joined the mastermind, which has helped also with so many changes. Thank you for sharing that. I love that. It's important to recognize change because it happens. And that's that growth. That's where we have the opportunity to put these new things in place to help us continue to move forward. So that's perfect. Thank you, Michelle. So the other thing that you can do is just hang on to some of the routines or rituals that you do have that is currently serving you. It's important not to just, if this change happens, let it disrupt every part of your life. Hang on to a few things to keep yourself a little bit grounded as you move through some of the bigger changes. And then expect the bumps in the road. We all know that there's going to be hiccups. That's life, right? That's those curveballs that happen. Maybe we don't respond the way we want to. Maybe something doesn't happen exactly how we wanted to. Give yourself some grace, learn from it, be kind to yourself, and then just keep moving forward. We just have to keep moving forward and not live in the past. And these are some thought patterns that have been showing up for me personally. And so that's why I wanted to share all this on here with you guys, because it does work. And it is something that can really change your life, change your business. And they're really powerful. Couple more things here. Oh, Michelle wrote, I choose to do hard things. Tanya's shirt design. I love that. Yes, choose to do the hard things. Change can be hard, but knowing how to embrace it, right, is where the magic happens. Celebrate every day, celebrate those accomplishments, and then most importantly, ask for help if you need it. Like Becky said earlier, what she was grateful for was the mastermind group. That is a great way to ask for help as you go through this change, especially as a business owner. You're all alone most of the time. And it's nice to have other people in similar situations with you that you can problem solve with, strategize with, collaborate with, whatever it might be, to help you get through that a little bit smoother so you can accomplish your goals. So I guess just to kind of summarize all of this is really know that change is part of life, and it's a tool that we need to develop for ourselves to really, truly adapt to it, embrace it, grow with it. Give yourself some grace as you move through it, and know that you can get through it and you're going to be okay in the end. And if anything, if you embrace it and you become more adapted to it, you're going to get to your goals much faster, and it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience instead of resisting it the whole way. So I want to show a video of a tool that you could use to help you embrace change. I want to share my yoga video with you guys because if you're interested, please try a free class. Yoga is a real powerful way to calm your mind, strengthen your body, but it gives you that moment for your brain to kind of catch up, right? It gives you that time to reflect, to grow, especially when you're going through a period of change. So, Erin, if you could play that video, that would be awesome. All right. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So yes, if you guys want to join me for a class, try it out. Please reach out to me, or you can just check out on the website, www.riseshinesmile.com. So can we bring all of us back on screen? And then do you guys have any feedback on change and kind of how you've used change and embraced it in your life for the better instead of resisting it?
I am going to tell you that I had seen a quote last week that said, if you're not changing, you're choosing. And I don't know what it was about that, but it really kind of hit home last week. And so I've had to make some changes with some sugar in my life and now gluten. And yeah, that is a change that I did not want to make or any of that kind of stuff. But I also realized that if I wasn't going to make that change, I was truly choosing to not make that change. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was pretty powerful. So
Yeah,
that's really powerful. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. There, if people want to head over there, riseshinesmile.com, you can check that out. But change. What I don't know, Kylene, you really did a great job explaining all that, and I think what might trip some people up, I know it's tripped me up, and you know this, Kylene, as from personal experience, unfortunately, the word moderation, right? Like I want to, okay, I've got to do this, and we're going to go all in, and now we're going to, change everything, or, so maybe some people get stuck there too, because, I'll go super hard at the gym for a couple days and then I'm tired. And then, right. But if you can step into these things more, see, Kylene, I am learning. I'm trying.
I love it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's, the change, the comfort zone, all that stuff. I think we need to just kind of push up against it, right? We don't need to go splashing through it, but start making small changes. With what Becky just said, that's super powerful connection for me. If you aren't choosing to make slight minor adjustments, then you're choosing the status quo, right? So, and maybe the status quo is okay in certain areas, and that's fine. But if you're not where you want to be, you are the one responsible for making the changes. And I think we can better handle small incremental changes as opposed to big, massive leaps, which I think we all try for because, we want that instant gratification, right? I need to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to do it today. Not going to happen, right? I'm talking for myself here. Yeah. So Michelle says, yes, small changes make a big impact without the overwhelm. I love that. Yeah, that's a good way to summarize that.
Perfect.
But, all right.
Yeah.
I want to plug Kylene's yoga also, because I have been participating in that and truly enjoy it. And had the pleasure of working with her on Saturday as she did a trial between the chair yoga and the regular yoga, and had them combined all into one. And that was really fun to work with. So
good.
Cool.
Good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Speaking of change, Kylene, you're working on some changes there on that side of things. So stay tuned, everybody. It'll be announced here once that's ready. But
yep, I'm excited.
Change is good.
Change is good, right?
Yeah.
I'm embracing it and growing.
Sounds like you're reminding yourself right now.
I told you I'm using these reminders every day as I continue to grow. And I mean, that's what we do in our businesses, right? You have to adapt and adjust and all of that.
Yeah. I mean, not to belabor this too much longer, but I mean, you just mentioned that, right? We have to adapt. We have to adjust. Things are going to happen in our business that we have zero control over, right? Like, unfortunately, I think we all remember COVID, right? All of a sudden things changed drastically and we didn't want that change, but it happened, right? And the people that survived were the people that were able to adapt and be able to embrace and say, you know what, this sucks, but we're going to figure it out, right? The people that didn't survive, they said, this sucks, and they packed it in, right? And they just, so it's just one of those things where, unfortunately, change is going to come knocking at your door, and how you embrace that could be crucial to your final success there. So
Yep.
not to make it too doom and gloom, because change is going to also show up in ways that are really positive, right? Your business gets busier, right? I gotten so busy, I need to hire an employee, right? That's a good thing, right? These are good changes that, again, you don't necessarily have full control over that, but you can be ready to embrace that through that kind of an idea. Love it.
Yep.
All right. So anything else we need to cover there, Kylene?
No, I mean, overall, just be kind to yourself as you go through this growth period of change. Celebrate along the way. I think and then ask for help when you need it.
Awesome. Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Becky, Small Business Success Gems, are you ready to deliver a gem here?
I am.
Let's do it. Here we go.
Good morning, OSG squad. I'm so glad to see so many people in the comments here this morning. It was awesome to have you all join us. Today, we are going to talk about project management systems for your small business. These systems play a pivotal role in enhancing your organization, your collaboration, your overall efficiency within your small business. I want to know, like, what do you guys use in your business? Let me know in the comments, because I know there's a few of you out there. I know Michelle's out there, and I know we share a common one, but I want to hear what everybody's using. So project management systems are there to be the backbone of your business, regardless of its size. For small businesses, these systems provide framework for growth and success. They allow to streamline your workflows, improve your task allocation, just seamless communication amongst team members if your business has more than one employee. And honestly, even in my business, as it's just me, the communication to myself is there to keep me on track. One of the key benefits for having these project management systems is to bring that order of chaos, get that under control. There's lots of project management programs out there to choose from. Trello, ClickUp, Asana, Monday, to name a few. So when I started my business, I didn't have these tools. And I started with a notebook and Kylene's favorite Post-it notes. And it got to be, my notebook was working for a while, kind of keeping everything in place. But then I'd be out in the community, out in the grocery store, at a football game, at a volleyball game, and somebody would want to talk to me about an order. And what do you do with that then when you're standing there in the grocery store going, okay, I can remember this. And then you get home and, you're putting groceries away and the kids are talking to you. You don't remember any of that. So I needed a way to capture that information in my phone or somewhere when I'm out and about. And then also be able to make sure that information was there when I got back to the shop or back to the office, and be able to work and have that information. So way back, I shouldn't say way back, I haven't been in business that long, 5 years. But the first one I started with was Trello, and it was going good. And then I'd forget to utilize it. And so then it would be like, oh, it's not working for me anymore. So let's try something else. Then we went back to the notebook, and then I tried ClickUp, and ClickUp was working until I was in the mastermind call, and it was actually Michelle who was talking again about Trello. And so I'm like, okay. And there Michelle says, I use Trello to track my orders, lets me put labels on each one to know the status. And that's exactly it. I worked with both Michelle and her daughter, Ashley, and we set up my Trello a little bit better than what I had going before. And I was able to add those labels, be able to kind of see things in just a more organized fashion than what I had going. So it just bumped that up for me. So now I can see all of those labels. I can see all of those orders as they move from start to finish. Because in mine, I have them, as they come in. Then there's design approval, whether we need to order a product, whether are we putting screen prints on them, are we putting DTF transfers on them? What's the process for what it needs to do, and all of that moves along on my board, and I can see it, and I can pull it up on my phone. So if I'm away from my computer or whatever, I have it all on my phone also. So it has really streamlined my process. I was also able to now set up an order request form on my website, which is awesome, because now I can send, somebody starts talking to me and I can say, if you just go out to bkcustomsd.com and click the order request form, it fills it out. They can fill out what they need. Their name goes in there. Any information they want to give me regarding an order goes in there. And when they hit submit, it automatically goes right into my Trello board. And that way it's not up to me to remember, like, okay, yep, somebody talked to me, I need to go put it back in. I can put it back on my customer and ask them to put that information in there for me and have it available and ready to go. So most importantly, it's there to utilize the system for you and move your business forward. I want to bring Kylene and Aaron back up and see what they have. I know they have a little bit different system that they use, so I'd just like to get a little more feedback on them.
All right, Kylene.
Well,
is that what?
I'm progressing. So, Aaron has set up Asana for us. And so there's some mutual tasks that he'll assign to me when we work through our business. And I have been very resistant to it, but I know it works, because when I do use it, I am reminded of the tasks that I need to do or put ideas there, and it's all in one spot. So I do appreciate that. But you had said when you aren't using it, then it's not working for you, right? And I mean, that's just it. You have to choose to use the tool that you have in front of you, and that is really huge. Aaron, you could probably talk about Asana for a long time on that, but
well, it's not Asana. I think you're exactly right that it's about using it, right? Because you said, oh, I set up Asana and then I assign tasks to you, like you're like you've asked me to do things and I'm still not done with them because it's sitting on a Post-it note that I rarely look at or understand, right? Because not only do these tools allow us the opportunity to keep on track, but then we can also, if you're collaborating with somebody, maybe you've got a virtual assistant, maybe you've got help people that, work inside of your business or whatever. You also need to go, okay, well, wait a second. I want to get clarity on this. What exactly is it that you need? And the Post-it note, if I wrote a note on it, it's just going to sit there until I stick it back on Kylene's desk. So, go ahead, Becky.
The other part with that is the instant communication is how I look at it. You could send an email and ask for that same information, but having it in Trello or Asana all keeps it with that same task that you've set out there. So, back and forth for us for OSG Live, we set up Trello. I requested Trello. And so it's nice there to be able to have, if we're back and forth looking for something, it can all stay within whatever task it is that we're working on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and here's the other part about it. Like the technology is out there and available. Like Trello, I'm using the free version, right? Asana that Kylene and I are using, we're using a free version, right? And so, but the tools are all out there. Like you said, we're using Trello, and there's a couple little things that didn't really work for my personal system. So instead of going, oh, we're just not going to use Trello, everybody needs to switch over to Asana, I used a Zapier link. And when there's something that I need to actually get into my to-do list, then I can just label it in Trello and it becomes a task in my Asana, right? So the technology is there. We use technology each and every day, and most of the time it's just to steal our attention, right? But technology is fantastic if we use it intentionally. And I think, to me, that's what the core of this gem is for people, is this, the fact is we have all the tools we need to be organized and to be, because that's the other thing that stood out to me, Becky, is you're somebody that is running your business on your own. You're doing a ton with me inside of our success group and helping build that. And on top of that, you're a mom. And so, you've got appointments and you do all these things. You're a friend that is there for your friends. And yet you seem to, manage it all. And I know that's because of the fact that you know what's in line, and you work your system.
And it does make a huge difference. And I can tell you, when you look back, I can tell you when I wasn't using it proficiently, and having that. The best part about these tools is they grow with you. I mean, you talked about the free versions, there's so many options and so many good tools that are available within those free versions that there's no reason to have that initial paid version until you grow. As you grow, you can then grow those systems with you. And I think that's probably the best part about those too, is how they can continue to grow with your business as you go.
Yeah. You get to that point where it's time to make the investment for sure. But like you said, you don't have to do that. And I think that's used to be the other barrier to entry for folks. But like I said, use it, build that system. And then once you get to that point where it's like, okay, I need to invest in this to continue to grow myself, then you're there. I think a little bit. And then, I guess the other thing that I'll share here, and love your guys' feedback too, is, in fact, this came up in the Tuesday mastermind call. This, we're getting into the fourth quarter here. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, right? Things are starting to happen and stuff like that. And we also need to make this something as a capture system, I believe. So I'm a big fan of the book, Getting Things Done by David Allen. And his process is do, dump, delegate, right? So we need to, but we need to have like a system that we can capture everything. We get an idea, we have a thing that we need to do. Let's get it all into one place. And that's kind of what I do with Asana, is I get it all into one place. And then weekly, I go and look, okay, what needs to happen this week? And then I can kind of schedule that for the week. Some things, once I've moved it, if I keep moving it, if I keep kicking the can down the street, so to speak, then that's probably not really that important for me to do. It was just a fun idea. It was a shiny object at the time. And so I'll take that off of the list of things that show up each week to do. And I just remove the date from it. And then at the end of the year, I'll go through the entire list and call through things and go, okay, what do I need to add on next year? But anyhow, my point being is we have to have this system to manage everything, because we don't have a time management problem. We have a priority management problem. And the busier we get, the more we have to hold on to our priorities, right? Because people are going to be asking things of us. Not only do we have the busyness of the holiday season, but then there's going to be events, family things, all this, the Christmas concerts, whatever it is that you've got going on in your life. And so understanding where those fit into your priority bucket is also important.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, I think it is really important to prioritize, and then it helps you in a way, it kind of helps you stay closer to your why. Why are you in business? Why are you doing this? So you don't get sidetracked and go down a different path. And because I know for me, when I'm not using it, that is exactly what can happen, and it's that much more difficult, right, to get back on track moving forward. So I like that.
Absolutely. No, I love it. I love having the due dates that keep us on track with that. So I see Michelle had a comment here, and she said, I also use Trello to communicate with the VA about social media and other tasks. And that is another huge one. Just having the social media part of it is included in that, and keeping that on track. And if you're using a VA, a virtual assistant like that communicates to them what you'd like them to do. So that's a great way to do it. So.
Well, I know I've said this already, but the the most important key in my brain of all this is that we have to use the system, right? So if you're going to be using Trello, that's great, but are you really using it, right? Because you can also put Trello on your phone, you can put Asana on your phone, and so. And then I love also the form that you created on your website. I actually shared the link for people just to go check it out, but you can also go check out what Becky's got going on over there at BK Custom SD. Because there's another thing, right? How many times are we getting orders? You said, you're out and about, or somebody sends you a Facebook message or a text message, or, drops by your front door. I mean, we get orders from all sorts of places. And yes, we can try to juggle all that on our own, but we can also just say, hey, just go to this, go to my website, click this button, and put in all the information. That way, this is for you, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, because I want to make sure I get this exactly right for you. So if you could put it in there, it gets into my system. I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle here. Your business is really important to me. And they go, oh, well, Becky really cares about me. Then I am going to go to her website and do that thing. Right. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. Yes, you're right. I could talk about this for hours and hours. You got me all excited. Well, anything else?
Nope. I appreciate you guys coming out and discussing this. And I see, if we can get some more comments about what other people use. I know if Tanya was here, she'd be talking about Monday.com too. That's another one. And I think that one's a little bit more in depth, but they have a few extra employees that they work between. And I think that helps them keep their stuff moving forward. So
yeah,
that's all I have today.
Perfect. Well, speaking of comments, I wanted to go back a little bit earlier. And if you guys have anything that you're grateful for and you haven't shared it in the comments yet, go for it. And I'm going to probably not get the name right. Anybody have any ideas about how to pronounce that? Because I'm terrible at this. Kylene, come on, help me out here.
Jamais.
That's what I was thinking too. So, okay, good. Jamais said, grateful for salvation and good health.
Awesome.
And then we also have Mo checking in this morning. Good morning, Mo.
Morning.
Thanks for being here with us. I know it's bright and early there for Mo. So I appreciate her being here. Okay. Well, what's next, guys? I guess a little uncommon mindset time, or you know what though? Let's do this for a moment. Let's hear a quick word about our success group, because I think there's some tools for folks in there and we have a little offer for people tuned in that I think might help them here too. So let's do that. And then we'll jump into the uncommon mindset after that.
Perfect.
As a small business owner, the journey can often feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're overworked, underappreciated, and alone. At our success group, we guide you to uncover the fundamentals necessary for success and lead you to fall in love with your business. We provide the foundational support and guide you towards a business that you love, not just a job that you dread. With OSG, we tackle aligning your business with your reason or purpose, defining a pricing strategy tailor-made for your business, and pave the way for you to identify your ideal customer. This is just scratching the surface. The mindset shift we provide is the game changer. We're here to support you every step of the way. Take a chance on yourself, trust in your potential, and let OSG guide your first steps towards lasting fulfillment. Go to osg.link/try-OSG. All right, well, check that out, and excited to hear if anybody's interested and has any questions about what being an OSG squad member means. Feel free to reach out to me directly at consultaaron.com. So, all right, so let's do some uncommon mindset, and Kylene, you're going to be joining me today, so I'm really excited about that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Well, uncommon mindset. Welcome in, everybody. This is going to be the first part of our series. I'm guessing about a 3-part series is what we're thinking here. But if we need to go deeper, if the questions and comments come in, we'll go deeper. But this is a series about the entrepreneurial mindset versus the employee mindset. And we're going to dive into that topic today. And I think it's really incredibly relevant for small business owners. And it kind of comes from a recent conversation that we had, my wife, Kylene, and I were having. We were working on we call it our non-negotiables, the big rock plan, right? That we were trying to figure out, okay, we need to make sure that we're getting our bodies moving. We need to make sure that we're taking some time for our well-being, digging into the wellness toolbox, the yoga, the movement, volleyball for me, and different things that we needed to do. And we were, I think, we were cruising right along. I think we were doing good. We were finding what worked, juggling also, Kylene's got her day job, and, I'm trying to juggle everything else that I've got going on too. And, we were doing pretty well setting that up. And, we were kind of working Monday through Friday. And then we got to Saturday and Sunday, and there was a little resistance there, Kylene, a little resistance from you. I got frustrated, so I apologize. And we were, this is the great part about our relationship, is that we can get frustrated with each other, and we know we have an open line of communication, and we can, learn that yep. We do a lot of apologizing to each other, but we know it's a good thing, right? Me more so than Kylene. But anyhow, I was sensing that resistance, and we worked through it. But I stumbled upon a quote that said, and I forwarded it to you, and it said, "Use the weekends to build the life you want instead of trying to escape." And it had escape in big bold letters. Instead of escape the life that you have. And, it obviously hit home for me because I wanted to share it with you. And I know it also hit home for you. And so I grew up in my dad was an entrepreneur, right? That was what he was. He had his own CPA business. And that was just what I knew. The entrepreneurial mindset spirit was just kind of part of how I grew up. And so for me, it seemed like, just like it should be what everybody thinks. That was my perspective. That was my blind spot, so to speak. And so noticing that Kylene was having this kind of shift, I was like, man, I think having Kylene talk about this is probably going to be more useful for everybody than me, right? Like Wayne Gretzky, probably what some people would consider the greatest hockey player of all times, was probably also the worst coach in NHL history. Right? Because he was the great one. It just was natural for him. Right. So teaching it, right, is how we get better at it. And to be honest with you, like volleyball is the same for me. I was never the greatest volleyball athlete, and it wasn't natural for me. But I got better at it because I focused on coaching it and teaching it. So that's why I've asked Kylene. Sorry, the long intro here, but that's why I wanted Kylene to come in, join, talk about her perspective on all of this. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for also letting me get through that big intro there.
Yeah, no, I think it's really important. I think with everything that we're talking about and with OSG Live, I mean, this is kind of the key. It's kind of creating that identity of who you are. But the second half of that quote that you didn't share, that really stood out for me, is making choices that your future self will thank you for. For me, that is the powerful part, because that's the empowerment part. That's knowing that I can mold myself into what I want to be, where I am going, where we are going as a family. And I think that is really like, that transition that takes place in your head. I mean, it doesn't mean that you have to work every hour of every day. You can if you want as an entrepreneur, but it doesn't mean you have to. So we get to choose and prioritize, and kind of going back to using the tool that that Becky just shared, having a system in place and using the fundamentals to just have that foundation. And pulling change into that one, not resisting it. It is a lot of work to get these foundational things in place for your business and for your life, but it does create that life in the future that you're wanting, right? So if we continue to make the choices that's comfortable, then we're going to continue to have the same life. We're not going to really create that entrepreneurial mindset for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because the employee mindset, as you guys know, it's showing up, it's doing what you're told to do, and then you get paid. And it's a very consistent thing. It's expected.
As long as they're doing well.
Yeah. Depending on where you're at. No, I'm just kidding. I'll leave that there. But yeah, as long as you're doing your job well, you're getting a paycheck for it. And you leave work, and most of the time you leave work and then you go on with the rest of your life. And that's kind of how I grew up. My parents, they had their job, and they did very well for themselves in their career. And then it was the weekends, and then that's when you do your household things and all of that other stuff. And for most of my career, that's what I did, right? I worked Monday through Friday. Evenings and weekends was time to take care of family and those kinds of things. Well, so for me, this whole transition into an entrepreneurial mindset has been a very difficult thing. And I think in our conversation, when you said you saw the resistance, where I physically couldn't write anything on Saturday and Sunday, which was like, for you, like you couldn't really comprehend why that wasn't something possible. And for me, it brought awareness of, these are the things that I want, my future self wants. So I need to put these things in place and really create that entrepreneurial mindset for myself to keep moving forward. Because as an entrepreneur, you get to choose. I mean, we get to choose when we work, how we work, and it's really having that uncommon mindset to do when most people may want to sit on the couch and watch. Maybe an hour of that time you spend working on your business on the weekend. And then you can do that if that's what you need to recharge. Or maybe you recharge during the week and you're working on your weekends. I don't know, an entrepreneur is just a different state of mind. It is an uncommon mindset. And I've watched you for how many years now live this life. And it's very inspiring to see the passion that comes out. And I'm trying to work through some of those conditioned patterns that I have with that employee mindset.
Yeah. And I think it's also really important for us to kind of share that, it's not about, I definitely would be somebody considered a little bit of a workaholic, and that's okay, right? Everybody's going to be different in that. But the idea here is not about the fact that you've got to work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, yada, 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 always focused on your business nonstop, right? That's not true. In fact, that's not even true for somebody like me who's has that kind of in my wheelhouse. I want to be doing that kind of thing. We all have to recharge, but it's more about, in my brain, it's more about the cycles, looking at it more as a cycle, right? So in that employee mindset, we do get conditioned into the cycle. Like I was watching a show the other day just about how we eat, trying to improve my health and stuff like that. The fact that we eat these 3 meals a day and now even more, that was never the case until the Industrial Revolution happened. But what happened is it made it easier for the employers to control the employees. If they said, okay, everybody eats breakfast here, then we take a lunch break, and then we work until it's dinner time, right? And so they put these things together. And the entrepreneurial mindset, hey, Lou.
Have a good day.
The entrepreneurial mindset is about kind of getting out of that, right? And just asking why is that the case, right? Why do I need to hold so tight to my weekends? Because is that the only time I get to recharge? As an entrepreneur, you can take that moment to recharge whenever you want. Kylene, I need a nap. Okay, take a nap, right? That's your right as an entrepreneur to make those decisions when you want. I think we just also have to understand that it is a cycle. So it can't just all be rainbows and ponies all the time. You do have to realize that there's times where you're going to have to work a little bit harder, right? You may have to put in that Saturday to get things done. And, maybe a little bit more, making those decisions about what's important to you. So how do you take that?
Oh, I was just going to share a quick Martha's comment. She said, Dave Ramsey says that we work just hard enough to keep from getting fired, and then pay us just to keep us from quitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a really good point. I appreciate you sharing that, Martha, because,
Yeah.
unfortunately that's true, right? As an employer, I've known employee that they like, okay, what do you need? Right. What do you need to be good? Right. That's how they determine the raises, right? It's not
Yeah.
on how much they're helping you grow the business. It's like, what's the minimum amount I can get by and keep, because like I knew an employer that was always like, they wanted people to go get a car loan or buy a house or things like that, because they knew that then they needed this job, right? And no matter how crappy the job was, they needed to pay their car loan or their house payment, right? And so they wanted people to become beholden to. Now that's an extreme case, but the reality is when you're working for somebody else, you're building their dream, and
Mhm.
that's okay if it aligns with your dream. Right. And so
Yep.
that's where I get off track there. So,
Yeah. And I like that you just said that, because it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. And I hope that that's coming across that way. If
yeah,
that is in alignment with what you want for your life, that's awesome.
yeah,
But as an entrepreneur, it's really hard to be successful and really thrive when you have that employee mindset still, because you can't just do enough to get by, because your business will either start going downhill or it won't grow and you won't have a business,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so I hope that that part stands out of why we're talking about this and why this is really, really powerful,
yeah, yeah.
having that uncommon mindset.
Okay. Well, Michelle also shared, I'm bad about sitting on the couch in the evening and working on the computer, but I've been more intentional the last few months about not doing it and spending time with my husband in the evening. See, and Michelle, this is so perfect. And I so appreciate that you shared this. That's
Yep.
that change, right? The sitting on the couch working on a computer, get rid of the label. It doesn't matter. It's what's important to you. What's a priority, right? And so
Mhm.
when you realize that the priority is, okay, maybe I need to actually take that time to spend it with my family, spend it with your husband in your case, right? I
Mhm.
think that's such a perfect point. That's the entrepreneurial mindset, that change of saying, I'm just going to be intentional about trying something different here. Going back to your change that you talked to us about in the wellness toolbox, Kylene. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, and then
Yeah. It's
she
high.
also, go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you
Nope.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, it's highlighting that power of choice. As an entrepreneur, we get to choose and prioritize and how we want to show up.
Yeah. Yep. And Michelle said, I do my movement and journaling in the morning and go to the studio later if necessary. Otherwise, I don't get it done. And I'm guilty of a nap at lunchtime if I need it. And I'd say, Michelle, just get rid of the word guilty. There's
Yep.
that you've earned that right as an entrepreneur, because you're also taking on those responsibilities of creating that business, right? And so
Yep.
if you've earned the nap, then there's no reason to have any guilt over that. So
Yep.
I
Yep.
love that.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Michelle. That's
Yeah,
great.
very good. Very good. All right. Well, Kylene, we want to get Becky in here to talk a little bit more about this
Yes.
too, and you can get any of her takes on it. But I guess just really important that this is not about, do you work the weekends or not work the weekends, right? I think that was just a really good example and kind of what got us sparked
Mhm.
into this conversation. The entrepreneurial mindset is much bigger than that. So I think ultimately it's the questions that we're asking ourselves about, okay, why, right? Why is, if there's something I need to schedule on a Saturday for my business that's going to get me closer to my idea of success, then why can't I schedule that, right? And I think that's the moment of realization that you had, right? You had to
Yeah.
ask yourself why, right? But,
Mhm.
what's holding you back? Anything that stood out, right? Outside of, kind of what you'd been conditioned to over time?
I mean, there was a lot. I mean, and it comes back to just honestly that choice, making choices that your future self will thank you for.
Yeah.
I look at me protecting my weekend for what? So I can have that downtime or do these other things, but how is that getting me closer to where I want to go? I mean, and just coming and reframing that I have the ability to make those choices.
Yeah.
I don't know, for me, that really was just highlighting the power of our choice again. And it's utilizing the weekend to move my business forward. And just creating the business that works for me in my life, instead of what I think it should be Monday through Friday from this time to this time. It's really, I have the right to choose how I run my business, and it's okay if I work on the weekends. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If I'm doing something I love, it's not really work, right? It's who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, since it's not just about the hours you work, next week we are going to dive deeper into what the entrepreneurial mindset is. It's things like having a larger vision just beyond getting through the day and kind of long-term goal setting. It's about kind of being willing to tackle challenges and conquer fear and be resilient. And it's about being innovative and creative, as well as self-motivated and accountable to your core values, and kind of what we discussed in the previous segment here in Uncommon Mindset about integrity. So we're going to get into that deeper next week, and we're excited to hear your guys' take on that.
Yes. Yeah. And we're really excited just to hear your thoughts on it, on that, and entrepreneurial mindset versus employee mindset. So please share.
Definitely. All right. Well, those of you that are tuned in live, we want to continue to get your comments in here, but we're going to bring Becky back in with us as well. And welcome back, Becky. So what's your take on all that? And then hi, Cora. Great to see you.
The stuff that showed up for me was when Kylene was talking about future self, and I had written it down where it's my future self is depending on me. So I need to keep plugging along, keep doing what, keep moving forward with it. And then, being an entrepreneur, you get to set your own schedule. And I've done that myself, with printing and all that stuff. There's times where I've come out and I've printed till 2:00 in the morning because I had to, or I knew I was leaving the next day, or I had an appointment. So I readjust. Okay. I was gone from, 10 to 2 in the middle of the day. Well, that means when I got back at 2:00, I came back out. I maybe went in and made supper, but I came back out and I worked until 10:00. So I lose a little of that time, maybe in the evening here and there, but I made that choice because I scheduled an appointment. I chose to be, make that part of it and then go from there. So
totally.
That's, you adjust your schedule for what you need for your business to move it forward.
Yeah. 100%. Michelle said any job in the past that I was an employee, I still worked it like it was my business. And honestly, Michelle, that's an uncommon mindset. I mean, that was the same for me. And certainly it brought a lot of success. It allowed me to kind of grow and get to a place in my career where I could be at a certain level. But ultimately, right, I got to a point where, okay, cool. Now this is somebody else's business. And yes, you can have a lot of success out of even being an employee with an entrepreneurial mindset. I think most business owners are looking for people like that. But you just have to keep that balance, right, between understanding where that lies for you. So, yeah. All right. Well, anything else, you guys? We are getting up to the end of our time.
Great information.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yep. There you go. Yes, Becky, that's what I love about being my own boss. High fives. There we go. All right. Well, hey, you guys, make sure that you're getting out there putting these tools and things into intention this week. So I'd love to hear how you guys are going to make a commitment to these types of the uncommon mindset, the small business success gem, using a system and making changes like Kylene talked about in the wellness toolbox there. So any closing thoughts, guys, before we get out of here? Okay. Look at that. Look at us. Great job, everybody. Appreciate it. And looking forward to talking to everybody again next Wednesday.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.